Brilliant. So thank you all for coming. We really appreciate that you're here. Obviously, we would much rather be doing this face to face, getting to know you properly. We don't like doing it over the screen at all, do we? It's just not very welcoming, really. But the most important thing is that you get the information that we're going to share today, and you have an opportunity to ask questions or hang around at the end if you want to have a chat with us as well. So we're going to crack on. I'm going to share the screen. It will be our presentation. In case you don't know who we are, I am Mrs. Carteret. I'm the head teacher, and this is Miss Wigmore, and she is the year leader and will be one of the class teachers as well in Year R. So the main person you need to know, really, down in Year R when your little one starts. So I'm just going to share the screen, so bear with, and we'll make a start. Okay, here we go. So just going to go over this bit really quickly, because hopefully this is one of the reasons why you are sat here today and you chose this school. We appreciate that you had a really, really tough job this year. I would not, as a mother, wanted to be in your shoes, having to choose a school that you weren't able to go and look around, you weren't able to go and get a feel for. So we're really grateful that you chose us, and hope that you chose us based on who we are and what you found out about us. And one of our most important, I suppose, elements of our school is our vision. We do talk about it quite a lot with the children and the staff and parents. You know, we really, when children leave our school, it's really important to us that they are independent, that they are resilient and are happy to tackle anything. And children have had to be quite resilient, I think, over the last year or so with everything that's been thrown at us. And also, above all, we want our children to leave here respectful of each other, respectful of the environment, the world, and of themselves, really. So I just wanted to, in case you hadn't seen that before, I wanted to share that with you, just so that you kind of know everything that we do as a school goes back to that, really. That is our overarching vision. So I won't go through this, I won't read it. It's on our website if you wanted to have a look, have a reminder. But just, you know, these are the things that as a school that we want when your little ones come here. And in fact, today, if you're popping in to pick up your pack today, where you will find out who their class teacher is and all of those bits, inside there you will see a homeschool agreement. So it's got a bit that we say that we will do as a school. So, you know, that we will try and make sure that your children are happy, that they're safe, that they're learning, that they leave us with all of those values. There's a bit that you will do as a family, as parents, and then there's a bit that the children kind of sign their name to say that they will do. So it's a joined up agreement, I guess, on us all working together to get the best for your children. And I guess for us, it really is, our main goal is that, you know, yes, the children are going to learn. That's why we're here, we're educators, but we are much more than that. And we just want your children to be safe, happy, and all-rounded little human beings, really, and to work with you to do that. I think that's probably our overarching goal. So this is new for us. Over the last sort of year, we've been looking at our curriculum. You'll probably seen there's been lots in the press and over Ofsted about curriculums and having a curriculum intent. What do you want, you know, our curriculum to look like? So we've always had a very strong curriculum. We get very high results here across the board. So we just, for us, it was small tweaks. It was just making sure that we kind of are really focusing in on what we want the children to learn. And we like a bit of cheese here, don't we? So, you know, if we can have a saying or, you know, a bit like our vision, if we can have something that the children can really hold on to and remember, then it makes it all that much more purposeful. So we're introducing this year that at Purbrook, we dare to learn. And it's just, again, more of those values, really. So diligent, aspirational, being resilient and being enthusiastic. And we're kind of introducing the children to these little plushes, these cuddly teddies, and they will represent each of the values. So the alpaca, so Annie the alpaca is very, very diligent. She always works hard, and there'll be a story behind her that the children can hold on to. And we know that kind of works because our golden rules are all linked to stories and animals, and the children can recite those, can't they, inside and out when they're here. So that will be something really exciting and new that your children will be the first year group to really get to grips with. So we're quite excited about that. We're very enthusiastic because we dare to learn too here at Pembroke. The teachers are also very daring. I'm going to hand over to Miss Wigmore now, and she's going to talk through the classes and the way it works.
Okay, so there are 3 classes down here. If you have had children come through the school before, or if you've been one of the parents so far who've come for a bit of a walk round, you'll see that we've got 3 class bases, but it's all quite open plan. And previously we've mixed children up from the beginning, but we're going to keep it. It's been quite a turbulent year for them. They've had quite a lot of change and transition they've had to deal with. So we're going to keep them a little bit more in their class units to start with. And they'll get to know their key person, which will be either the teacher or the LSA in their class, and the other adults in the classroom and their children. So there's 3 classes. Every class in the school is named after a bird, and our smallest birds are for our smallest children. So we've got Robin's class, which is me and Mrs. Jameson, Wagtail's class, which is Mrs. Craig and Mrs. King, and then Kingfisher's class, who will be Miss Leck, who's starting with us in September, and Mrs. Hardy. And we're also really lucky that we've got a higher level teaching assistant called Mrs. Cowdrey, and her job is to, you know, she might take small groups for the children, she might cover classes if teachers can't be in the class for whatever reason. She helps children with their reading. The children love her, you know, they love being pulled out to do a special job with Mrs. Cowdrey, and you know, she really, really helps them with their learning.
And when you pick your packs up, there are photographs in there of all of the teachers, so you can put a name to the face. Because if you're looking on the website, you won't see Miss Leck because she's new, so we haven't managed to grab her photo yet, but she has sent us one in for our packs. So do pop down and get those today.
So on Wednesday the 7th, which is not far away now, your child is invited in for one play session with a couple of the children in their class and their new teacher and their LSA, their key person. It's done by your child's surname, not your surname, your child's surname if it's different. So if your child's surname starts A to G, then they're coming in at 9:30. H to O is 11 o'clock and P to Z is 1:15. And they'll get to meet roughly about 10 children from their class. It won't be exact, it's all done by surname, so it's a little bit luck of the draw. If there's not many P to Zs in the class, there might be a fewer of those, but we've tried to make it as even as possible. And then they'll also get to meet their class teacher and their LSA. They'll spend a little bit of time with whoever their key person might be, and a little bit of time just exploring the environment, getting to know some of the other children. You're welcome to stay for that whole time. We are asking, obviously, you know, numbers are on the rise. A lot of schools have turned around and said actually they can't do transition events, but it is really important for us that the children do come in and that they do get to see us and start to see us as safe people and get to know what their classrooms are going to be like. So to make that possible, we are going to ask that you wear masks for the whole time you're here and try and social distance from staff and from other parents. The staff here are going to be wearing visors rather than masks because it's just so important that the children get to see our faces and we could smile when they walk in the door and they can see that we're happy to see them. But yeah, we'll do our best to distance from you, and we ask the same from you if that's okay.
Because we're desperate to keep this happening. As you know, Miss Wigmore said, lots of schools very locally have suddenly last minute pulled out of transition. But I think we feel that the transition outweighs the importance of that as long as we can follow social distancing rules and keep safe. So, you know, unless something horrific was to happen in the next week or so and we had to shut bubbles, we do plan for that to go ahead. So fingers crossed.
And then on that meeting, so when you come in, we'll ask you to sign up for a slot for a home visit. We'll just get you to choose a day and then we'll let you know what time will be to you at another point. And it sounds, a home visit sounds quite daunting. It's really not. It's not an opportunity for us to come and have a snoop through drawers or check how tidy your house is. It's just a chance for your child to see us in their safe place. And you know, inviting someone into your home is a way to prove that they're a safe person, and that you trust them, and hopefully that means that your child will start to trust us as well. So it'll be us, the teacher and the LSA will come. We'll have a little chat with you if you've got any worries about something for September, maybe something particular to your child that you haven't been able to raise. We can talk about that with you. We can also get to know your child. They might have a special toy they want to share with us. We will organise a pack to come out to you with a little All About Me booklet, and we'll ask you to fill that out with your child over the summer. We can share that with your child, things that they really like, any worries that they might have. And then on the afternoon of that day, then they will be invited in at 2 o'clock to come and play, just with us and the other 4 or 5 children that have had a home visit in the morning, just to start easing them in, settling them in. If there's anyone who is really worried about the home visit, or maybe not comfortable with us coming in, please let us know. We can arrange either to do it over Zoom like we've done this year, or you can come into us. We want to make it work for everyone.
We can meet in the garden if that's worrying you about having people in and COVID and things. So there's always ways around it. We'll find a way.
You know, this is considering where everything is at now. It might be that Boris turns around and says, absolutely not. You know, just bear with, and we'll let you know closer to the time if there are any changes around that.
We have become the masters of making decisions at last minute in schools and changing everything on a whim. So we're quite good at that now, aren't we? Okay. So starting school in September, which seems like a long time away, doesn't it, really? And it can be quite complicated. So I'm going to let Miss Wigmore, who lives and dreams it, tell you all about it.
We've got the first week will be home visit, so your child will only come in for that afternoon at 2 o'clock of that day, and then not again until either the 9th or the 10th of September. And again, that's done by surname. This should have all been emailed out to you. I think it came out beginning of June, so if you haven't received that, let us know. But again, it's done by their surname. They'll come in for a full day, and then they'll have the next day off. And thinking behind that is that actually we ask so much for them, and a lot of them might have been to preschool before and have done full days, but we push them hard from the minute they walk in the door to the minute they leave, and they just need that easing in, that settling in, a little bit of a break the next day, because we're exhausted by the end of the first week, let alone them as well. And then so that happens for 8 days, I think it is, and then from Thursday the 23rd, children can start full time, and we do expect most children to start full time. But if we get to around about the 23rd and you think, gosh, my child is just not ready, come in, book a meeting with myself and Mrs. Cardrow. We can talk it all through. We're not going to force any children to start full time who are not ready, but equally, you know, we would expect that most children would be by that point.
Yeah, and you know, through any of that early time when they're dipping their feet in and having their sessions, our door's always open. If you've got anxieties as well, you know, as parents, I think we get more anxious than our children most of the time when they start school. Come in and chat with us. No question's a silly question, and you know, no worry is a silly worry either. So you must be open with us, because we can you're probably not the only one feeling that way, and we can probably help and we can ease that worry. So do come and chat with us.
And if you do have a worry that you think lots of people might be feeling, pop it on the chat bar. I mean, on what did it, Thursday, we had a couple of people just pop up and ask questions we went through, and everyone said it was really beneficial. So if you do think of anything as we're talking, just pop it in and we can address it live now.
Yeah. And I just noticed that says Friday the 10th of December. That would be a late start.
Oh.
That is obviously September. I've not noticed that before. We did that on that Thursday and we didn't notice. So school uniform. So this it's quite exciting. The children will be getting excited about coming to school and putting on their school uniform. I think it makes them feel like they're proper little grown-ups, doesn't it? And I know a lot of the nurseries at the moment have got the uniforms out for them to explore and try on and have a go. I know it seems strange that we're an infant school, but we are quite strict about school uniform. There's a lot of research behind a uniform look making children feel part of something. You know, they're part of that community, that family. So we really want our children to feel like that. It's like if they go to Rainbows or Cubs, isn't it? You put on the uniform to feel like you're part of that group. So we are quite fussy, I guess, about the colours that the children wear. We just like everyone to look quite smart. Obviously, you know, jumpers with the emblems and the logos, they can get quite pricey. You know, as a parent myself, especially when they get to high school, it's really pricey when you've got to start getting jackets and all sorts. So, you know, we get that, we know that, and you can pick up the maroon jumpers. If you can't get the one with the logo, that's fine, in Tesco's and things like that. We also have, because School Kit is the only place that you can buy our logoed goods from. They're online. You don't even have to go into the shop if you don't want to, or there is one in Waterlooville. Haven't. that you can pop down and try things on. But if you haven't made it up to the school yet, when you come and pick your packs up today, just in our foyer area, there is lots of uniform. It's secondhand, but it is nearly new. I mean, children can wear uniform for such a short time, and especially during COVID, all those parents that bought new jumpers and cardies and they were in them for 5 minutes, you know, have been kindly been donated. They've all been washed and checked. So have a look, because children grow fast, and we have quite a lot of nearly new, quite good quality stuff out the front, which there is no price to those. It's a honesty box, so you just put in what you want and can afford, and you can take what you need. So just, you know, have a little look. It's on our website as well. It is the yellow polo t-shirt, not the white ones. You can get them in the local supermarkets around here. Supermarkets will always cater for their local schools, and it is a grey skirt. If it's a little girl and they're wearing their summer dresses, if we ever have summer weather, it is the checkered red or the yellow, not the kind of the greens and the blues that you can get, because they just stand out, and they just look, you know, a little bit different. They look really smart if they're all wearing the same. Really important, you know, more than anything, is the shoes that they wear, because we want them to be safe. So making sure that they've got proper hard backed shoes with buckles or Velcro. We're not fans of the laces. Even if you've been cracking that all summer with your little ones and they're really good at tying their shoelaces, that's brilliant. But when you put them in a class with 29 other children, and they're getting changed, and they're changing from their slippers to their shoes, which we'll talk about in a minute, and their wellies, no matter how good they are, it takes them a lot longer than just sticking a bit of Velcro over. So we love Velcro. Go Velcro. Always go Velcro. It makes your little one's life so much easier at school.
And you can get some really smart Velcro shoes. They don't look, and they look a lot smarter than someone whose laces are undone because they can't do them up.
And if you don't take anything else away from today, one thing to take away is name everything, because children lose it, and if it's named, it is so much easier to get it back to the right child. Even if it goes home with the wrong child, we then get it given back to us in the morning, and we can locate the person it belongs to. And we mean everything. You'll be surprised what children lose: socks, pants, everything. Even though we don't take our pants off for PE, we still somehow manage to lose them. So yes, so name everything. And if you're buying trainers or plimsolls for PE, you know, don't go Nike Air Jordan Maxes, don't go expensive, you know, it's just for school. They do get lost, they do get scuffed, and plimsolls are the better thing for the children to wear, because trainers will also mark the hall floor, and the caretaker gets very cross with me. So plimsolls are best, and they're cheap. So the next big question we always get asked by parents is, what should my children bring to school? Some children run out the door and don't want to take anything. Some would bring the kitchen sink if we gave them the chance. All we really need the children to bring is their book bag. And we do ask that it is one of the flat book bags that you can buy. It doesn't have to have the Purbrick emblem on it at all, but it is one of those flat ones. The reason that we ask for those is because we don't have the biggest storage area for coats. We've got little coat pegs, and if you start putting a rucksack on the coat pegs, no one else can hang their coat up. And then so we have little boxes that they just fit beautifully in the book bags. Again, if you've got a rucksack in there, it just takes up too much space. The other children can't find what they're looking for. We find that some children often put one key ring, not every key ring you have in the house, on the edge of their book bag, and it helps them to locate theirs quite quickly if they've been called to read or something, which is quite useful. A water bottle. We normally provide water bottles for you when you start school. We're just waiting to hear if that's going to happen this year. Last year there was a shortage because of COVID, and there's a plastic shortage at the moment because of COVID and possibly that big tanker ship that got stuck in Egypt. And our suppliers are getting some, trying to get them to us, but I think they're running a bit behind. So in the short term, any bottle is fine. Even if it's like a Evian bottle with their name on it, that's fine. But we do encourage that they have water, because we encourage them to drink throughout the day. Coat, we live in England, and it can be glorious hot sunshine one day and thunder, hail, lightning and storms the next day. So who knows what this weather is bringing at the moment. So we do recommend that they bring a coat in every day as well. Those little ones that like the Packer Max are fantastic because they do fit in their book bags and they can roll up, especially when it's summer. But again, name the coat.
It's also worth knowing that we'll go out in whatever weather, and they'll be in the mud and they'll be in the forest. So, you know, sometimes we have children come in lovely fairy jackets. They need to be appropriate coats, waterproof, simple, cheap coats that can get muddy or can get paint on, something that's suitable for school with a hood.
Because we do believe that the messier they come home, the more fun they've had. So you might hate us at the end for that, but it, you know, it's true. And then slippers and wellies, which I'm going to let Miss Wigmore speak to you about.
So
it's her baby.
It is. A few years ago, I read some research that was talking about helping children to settle into school and helping them with their listening and their attention. And a lot of it suggested that the more comfortable and the more at home they feel, the easier they find to learn. And slippers was a big part of that research. And it basically said that if children are learning in their school shoes, and they're big, they're chunky, they're nice and safe shoes, which you've asked for, with backs on. And then they're all sat on the carpet squeezed in, and they're kicking each other, and they're sat with these lumpy shoes, and they're clumping around while they're doing their learning. And actually, when we get home, I'm sure the first thing you do is slip your shoes off and either go barefoot or put your slippers on. You're nice and comfy, you're at home, you're relaxed. We found that bringing that into school, bringing that kind of home into school, that relaxed, calm, really helps them with their learning. And we do only do it in year R, because once they move up through the school, they're sat at tables a lot more, and it's just not quite as practical.
They have to go out for the toilet and things to a different room as well.
But whilst they're in year R, they come in, they pop their slippers on in the morning, and then they're ready to learn. And then when we go outside, like I've said before, we're in the mud, we're in the water, we're in the forest, and their lovely smart school shoes that you've bought them end up getting wrecked within about 2 days. So we ask for a pair of wellies in school as well, named, so that they can pop their wellies on, and then they'll wear their school shoes for lunch times, for going up to hall for assembly, and bits like that.
And we do ask that the slippers are quite simple slippers, because you can imagine if you've got a big shark head that flaps on the end, that becomes quite tricky to sit down as well. So nice small slip-on slippers is a win, isn't it, really? So these things need to be in school every single day. We don't guarantee which day the children will read on. We love having reading volunteers in the school, so you know your child could be called to read any given day. So their book bag should be in school with their reading book and their diary in there every day, and we'll provide the books normally within a few weeks of them starting and everybody starting. We let them settle first, do a bit of baseline, get to know them, and then we get them the right reading book. So don't panic if on week 1 you haven't got a reading book yet. So, you know, if you need books because you haven't got them at home, you can give us a shout. We've got the library, but their reading book with a colour sticker on will come once everybody is settled and we know where their starting points are.
Generally by half term, we say they'll have a book at home.
And name everything.
Name everything.
So moving on then, our topics. The way that we work here as part of our Dare to Learn curriculum is that we don't want to narrow down what we give the children. We want it to be quite broad and quite balanced, and we want the children to kind of lead that learning, go with the children's interests, which we can do in early years fantastically, and we've been doing for years. So we kind of have an overarching theme. In the autumn term, that's Magical Me, in the first part. So it will be all about them. They'll have a book about themselves that you'll take to home visits, which they can share. And then we kind of bring in a bit of magic. And, you know, I know Miss Wigmore would love to take it down the Harry Potter route. But again, that will depend with the children. You know, if they come in and suddenly they're obsessed with Room on the Broom and Julia Donaldson stories, then we'll take it down that route. It really is, you know, we listen to the children, we look at what their interests are, we know what we need to teach them, we know the children so well where their gaps are and what they need to learn, and we can cater that with their own interests. And then it kind of moves on to looking at stories around the world, which will lead into Christmas, which is going to come here quicker than we can blink, I think. And then obviously as we go into the next term, we've got the overarching theme of Into the Wild and Explorers, and that could, you know, we don't know the children yet, so we don't know what that's going to look like. That could be anything. and so on into the summer term. We used to use tapestry. You might be familiar with that from nurseries, because I know it's a one that's used quite a lot. We're coming away from that this year. We've been piloting the new early years framework curriculum this year. So we're a year ahead of the game, which is really good, because everybody's got to do that in September. And we've already kind of started it and embedded it. And we kind of found that tapestry wasn't really giving us what we wanted for that. It didn't align with the new curriculum as such, and the vision and the ethos of the new curriculum. So we've kind of moved more to a program called Seesaw, which is in a sense it does the same thing. You will still get to see what your children is learning at school. We'll post pictures, but we're going to use that throughout the school. So we're introducing it to year 1 and year 2, because so many year R parents say at the end, I know you're only just thinking about starting, but they say at the end of year R, oh, are we still going to have tapestry? Are we still going to see what they're learning? And it kind of just disappears. So Seesaw will carry on, but the children become a lot more independent in using it, which is one of our values. So they will be, you know, something they've achieved in their learning environment, they might be proud of. They can go and get it, take a picture of it, find their name, it's very child friendly, and they can upload and link it. And I think the key thing with the new curriculum is that whereas tapestry, you might have got 3 or 4, a couple a day, lots over the week. With the new curriculum, you won't get as many tapestry photographs or observations, because the new framework is very specific that it should really only be new learning. So you'll get a lot at the beginning, I think is what we've kind of said, isn't it? Because everything's going to be new to the little children. But as they start embedding their learning and consolidating, we won't be taking pictures of that. We won't be sharing that with you, because you already know they can do that and you don't need to see it. So the idea is that the teachers and the key workers, you know, they won't be sat with a screen in front of their faces trying to capture things. They will be down at the child's level, learning with them, playing with them, challenging them and pushing them, and forever moving them forward, which is a much better use of their time. I think we'd all agree. Do ask any questions if you want to. Right, food. So food, very important part of the day. The best bit of the day, the bits of the day that I look forward to throughout as time goes on. And so do children. Believe it or not, by the time you've probably walked back up the playground and gone out the gate, they're already asking when is lunchtime, because they're hungry. So we're very lucky. They can have a piece of fruit as a snack in the morning. You don't have to provide that. That's provided by the government, the local authorities. So we get lots of different fruit in, ranges from bananas, apples, satsumas, tomatoes. We get the odd pineapples and dry fruit, carrots, green beans. So it's quite varied. It's very,
once a year we get strawberry. Yes. Strawberry day is very exciting.
We look forward to that. It's quite seasonal what they get. So, and then that's just kind of, we have a snack area in the classroom. So they can, when they are using free flow, and we call it discovery time, when they're learning and self-initiating through play, they can go to the snack stop and they can help themselves to their piece of fruit. They can have free milk up to the term of their 5th birthday. So if they're coming in, they're still 4, you will find a cool milk advertisement in your pack when you pick it up today. Even if your child is 4, still apply, because you won't get it, even though it's free, unless you say that you want it. And then they literally deliver the amount that we've been catered for. If you want to continue having it after they've stopped getting it for free, I believe it's about £15 a term, unless it's gone up. It hadn't gone up for a few years, so I'm assuming it hasn't. And you just need, again, it's all online, cool milk. You'll see the little slip in your pack. Go on and you can order it. So just keep that on the fridge in case, if you know that you're going to need that going forward. We will tell you if you're paying for it and your child's not drinking it. We will let you know.
We don't force them. If it's not something that they want, you know, they get a choice every day whether they want to have it. We'll encourage them, you know, we'll say, oh, right, you know, mummy's paid for it, you know, try it for me. If they really don't want it, we'll let you know, because we don't want you wasting your money on it.
Yeah, and as I say, they've got water anyway throughout the day. They can access that at any point in the day. Lunch as well. So all children at Pembroke Infant School are eligible for a universal free school meal. So you don't have to provide a packed lunch if you don't want to. You don't have to pay for hot food. it's because of their age that they're entitled to it. And they have we call it a red dinner or a green dinner. Red dinner is a meat one, and the green dinner is a veggie dinner. You'll get sent home the menus in advance. It's a 3-week rolling program. You can kind of see, and it all makes sense when we send out the information. It links up with when they've got forest school and all these other things. It's a very organized system. But it means that you can kind of see what they can have on offer. You don't have to have, if you choose that you want them to have a hot meal, but they really don't like fish, which is always a Friday, it's Fishy Friday, they can have a packed lunch on the odd day. Wednesdays are really popular because it's pizza on a Wednesday. The children get mad for pizza. Roast dinners are quite popular on a Tuesday, but it varies. So you can dip in and out, seeing depending on what your child likes. If you're worrying that your child's got allergies or intolerance, don't panic. Let us know. There are certain forms that we would need you to fill in, and it's all done very safely. Your child, will not mistakenly eat dairy or something like that if they're not allowed to, so don't panic about that. If you do provide a packed lunch, we do ask that it's a healthy lunch. We're a healthy school. No fizzy drinks, sweets or chocolate. A little biscuit's fine, but generally a nice sandwich, piece of fruit, yogurt, some crisps, and water or a squash or something like that is great for lunch boxes. Don't overfill. Sometimes I do it myself. I think, oh, my baby's going to be so hungry at school, I'm going to put this in and this in and this in and give them these treats, and it overwhelms them. They kind of open it and think, oh, I don't even know where to start. And yeah, then you'll find that they might throw it away, or it's coming home, and then they just don't need that much. If you think what you would put on a plate at home, that is what they need at school. They all eat together. For me, I feel lunch is a social time. If I'm going out to eat with my friends, I want to have a chat. I want to see what's been going on in the day. I want to catch up. So whether they're packed lunch or hot dinners, they all go in the hall together and they get to see each other and socialise. All being well in September and we're not under COVID restrictions, that is the goal, to get them all back in there again. We understand that they take quite a long time, especially at the beginning when they come to eat, to get used to lining up, getting their food, sitting down, chopping it up. We've got lots of lunch ladies that are there to help them, so don't worry about them. But that could be one thing you practice over the summer, is just cutting up jacket potatoes and things like that, because they're quite tricky. But yeah, they have long enough that they get at least half an hour to eat, if not longer if they need it, so don't panic.
And if your child is a fussy eater and you think, oh, I'm really not sure if they're going to want to eat the curry on curry day or whatever it might be, you can always just have a little quiet chat with class teacher, slip in a secret packed lunch that we can hide up in the cupboard, and we really encourage them to try it. But if they really don't like it, we can get down the secret packed lunch and they can eat that, so they're not going to be hungry. But I would suggest trying it. They are really nice. I mean, even the staff eat them sometimes, so it is good food.
And because their friends are eating it, we do generally find those parents that kind of come to us and say, oh, my child's never going to eat that. You'd be surprised if everyone on the table is eating it. They want to fit in, they want to get out to play as well, so they just eat it. And if that means you haven't got to make packed lunch, I think you're winning, aren't you? That's my theory. So wraparound care, if you're sitting there thinking or panicking, your whole life's about to change, routines are changing, lots of nurseries run longer than school, you might be panicking about how you're going to manage. So don't panic is the answer. We do provide wraparound care. You can drop the little ones off from 7:45 in the morning. We will give them breakfast. It's a healthy breakfast. We have lots of toast, different spreads. They can choose honey, jam, Marmite. We have cereal, fruit, yogurt, lots of drinks, and just a real opportunity to play. Children love it. They will be based, if all is well with COVID, actually, and I think we're heading that way anyway. Whatever happens, they will be in their early years environment, so they haven't got to learn a new place or new faces. Everyone that runs our breakfast and after school club already work at the school. They are generally just TAs, and a lot of them work in Year R as well, so they know the expectations of the school, they know the rules, the boundaries, so it's just seamless. The children just feel like, I guess, they're getting to come into school a bit earlier and have a play with their friends. So it's £2.50 for breakfast club, and then if you need the after school club, we run that till 6 o'clock. So the children will be taken down from their classroom into where it's being run, which will be out of early years, so they haven't got far to go. Again, it's run by staff that already work here, and it's just we do offer a snack. We don't call it a meal replacement. They have it at about 4 o'clock, and it's like a wrap or some cheese and crackers. It's not a cooked meal or anything like that, but it just keeps them going because children are constantly hungry, as we know. And again, they just get to have a good play. They can go out on the playground. They do lots of art and crafty things. So they get the chance to go into the ICT suite. They do quite fun things. So it's quite a nice session. You can stay till 6, which is at a higher cost. We were finding that lots of parents are rushing and picking them up at about 4:30. So rather than feeling like we were conning you out of your money, we've kind of done a shorter session where you would pay less as well. The only difficult thing I hate mentioning, because I hate talking about money, is that if you know that you're going to need this, I would recommend you put down a holding deposit, because what happens is, and the reason we ask for that is that everybody kind of hedged their bets over the last few years. They kind of thought, I probably won't need it because grandparents will look after them, but I'm going to say my little one does need it. And I will never ever turn anyone away from needing after school or breakfast care, because I know how important it is. As a working mum, I need it. So I would then, if we had lots and lots, I would staff it. I'd recruit and get more staff in, which is what we were doing. And then lots of people weren't turning up on day one because grandparents were looking after them. And I've recruited a new member of staff and we can't afford it. So, and with COVID, you know, it has taken a massive hit on our breakfast and after school club. It's running at a difficult deficit, really. So that's why we ask for a deposit. If you take your place, that £25 will then come off your first payment, so you won't be out of pocket. But if you then don't turn up, we do keep that money, and it just goes into the pot of saving breakfast and after school club and making sure it's there for everyone. So I hope that makes sense and doesn't seem too rude.
Yeah. So one of the biggest questions that lots of parents ask, how can I make sure that my child is ready for year R? Which probably feels even more daunting now, because I'm sure lots of them have missed bits of preschool. Don't panic. They're all coming in at the same place. You know, to be frank, we don't really care about academic side of things when they come in. What we want is for them to be able to come in, feel welcome, feel safe, and then we deal with all the academics. But what you can do is help them to dress and undress, especially their shoes, putting their coat on, using the toilet independently. And we know that there are some children who, for medical reasons, can't, and that's fine. Talk to us, you know, we can come up with a plan together. That if they are capable of going to the toilet independently, we ask that you kind of encourage that as much as possible, because it does take a lot of our time if we need to go in and help them constantly. Tidying up after themselves is the dream. We get some children that come in and they're playing, and then I'll finish with that car now, and then they walk away. If we can train them up between us to just pop it back when they're finished, that would be great. We've got lots of tidying up games that we do. You know, if there's a big mess, I'll choose, oh, I've got a mystery item, and if you pick it up, then you win, and if I pick it up, then I win. And 99% of the time they manage to pick it up, and things like that. But little tidying up games work. Recognizing their own name. We don't expect them to be able to write it. You know, if they can, well done. But we really don't expect that at this point. But being able to recognize their own name, you know, seeing the capital A or whatever it might be, and think, yeah, I know that one's mine, will really help them, because when they come in the morning, they register themselves. They've got a special stone that's got their name on, and that's what they use to show they're here, choose their lunch, bits like that. And if they can do that independently, it makes them feel so much more confident about coming in than coming up to someone they don't know and saying, oh, I don't know which one's my name, and please can you help me find my stone. And then beyond that, just talking to them as much as possible, giving them all those experiences that they might have missed out on over the last couple of years. Bless them. You know, there's nothing more important than reading with your child, talking with your child. You know, not spending money, but take them to the park, take them to the library, take them to the beach, and just talk to them.
And amazingly, playing games in all the old-fashioned games, like snakes and ladders. Excellent early math skills there. You know, using anything that uses a dice really is really good early skills of sabotaging, recognizing those numbers. So you know, get up in the loft and get the old games out if they're up there. And and reading books. You will learn from me that
Mhm.
whenever I talk to you, whenever I do a presentation about anything, I could talk for hours about reading books. It is the most important thing we can do as parents and carers, is to share books with our children. Shouldn't be them reading it either. It should be us reading them to them, engaging them in it, asking questions, talking about them, because the vocabulary that they pick up from those books and the enjoyment and a long love of books is what we want to encourage. Believe it or not, actually you could probably believe it, but as a teacher, I think when you're in the classroom, you can see straight away those children who read and share books at home and those that don't. There is a gap and there is a divide, and it is just crucial. So you don't do anything else between now and school, read some books.
It might not feel so. It might not feel that important, but there's so much research out there as well that shows children who have read books at 4 and 5 years old at home do so much better in their GCSEs and their A levels, their mental health as adults. There's long-term studies that have been done, and it might seem, well, me reading Julia Donaldson, well, one evening, how is that going to impact their career? But it does. It shapes them as people into lifelong learners who are more successful as they get older.
And avoid too many screens. We relied on them, I think, so much over the last year and a half, especially if you were working from home and your children were at home. We've all been there. I've been there. And it's so easy just to say to the children, isn't it? Oh, just go and play on the iPad or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But just, try and, as they're getting ready to come to school, reduce the amount of screen time they're having. We need children to know what it is like to be bored. Children nowadays have instant gratification straight away. Everything they watch is a few minutes long and it's flashy and it's lights and it's exciting. Actually, they need to know that they're going to sit in a car and go on a journey, and it might take 20 minutes. In our day, we had to count the red cars, didn't we? We didn't have these wonderful screens and these shows that we can watch. I think I'm a true believer that children need to be bored at times so that they can invoke their imagination. It's not so bad, but we were seeing it a few years ago, weren't we, that when YouTube and screens became a big thing, children didn't know how to play and were not imaginative. And I feel like we were coming away from that, but I worry with COVID that it might dip back. So just let them be bored, give them a cardboard box, and they'll be happy for hours. That's what we want.
So when they come in, we spend the first few weeks just getting to know them. You know them already, but they're brand new for us, and we've got 30 children to get to know. So the first few weeks, especially on those days when they're only coming in half at a time, we spend just bonding with them, getting to know them, getting to know what they love, getting to know what they find tricky that we can help them with. And then that kind of helps us to develop, like we were saying earlier. We follow their lead for our curriculum, so it really helps us to work out what we want to teach them, what they want to learn. And there are bits you can do to help us with that. So usually about 6 weeks after they start, we offer a meeting for parents where we talk a little bit more about how we teach them about reading that you can do at home, about early math skills, bits like that. And if you can attend those, please do. We're hoping, we've learned kind of from the last 2 years that this is actually quite a successful way of talking to parents. It's not quite as nice as face-to-face, but we will do hopefully in-person meetings, and if that's not possible, then we'll still run them like this. We will add to Seesaw, which is our new tapestry, as much as possible, and we ask that you do as well. And it can be the tiniest things. They've gone for a walk and they found a flower and they wanted to learn about the parts of a flower, or they've baked a cake on their own, not on their own, with you. They took the lead baking a cake. They've moved up a level in swimming, whatever it might be. And it might seem like it's really small things, but for us, it's a really lovely way for us to bond with them, because they can come in and we can say, oh, you're growing up at home on Seesaw, that you've moved up in swimming. We're so proud of you. Come and tell us all about it. And it builds up that relationship with them. We also invite you in. I think we'll talk about it a little bit later. We invite you in to help in class. We love having people in to hear readers. We've talked about how important reading is. If you're not comfortable reading with the children, but you want to come in, that's fine. We've got all sorts of things. You can run maths games, snakes and ladders with a couple of children. You can come in for forest school. And we're hoping next year we'll be able to start running school trips again. So keep an eye out for those, because we always need some parent helpers for those as well. And we also have a really, really incredible PTFA, which stands for Parents, Teachers and Friends Association. And they organise things like our summer fairs. They do movie nights for the children. We have discos, yeah, all sorts that they put on, and they fundraise for the school, but then all the money that they raise goes straight back into the children's learning. And they put on pantomimes, bits like that, with the money that they raise as well. You know, you can either join and become a fully fledged member, which is lovely, and it's really good support for you, especially if you're new to the school community. They are so helpful, and you can reach out to them for whatever you need.
Friends,
yeah,
friends.
Lovely way to bond and kind of get to know some of the parents that you're going to be spending your whole child's school career with. Or you can just dip in and out, and they do run a pantomime, or not pantomime, a disco or a movie night or the summer fair. You could just sign up as an ad hoc helper. And the most important thing, take reading away, but beyond that, the Friday Flyer is a newsletter that we email out every Friday. It has everything you could possibly need to know. It has the menu, it has what day Forest School is, if it's a non-uniform day next week, and the amount of inset days, the amount of people that come into the office and say, oh, is something happening next week? And you'll hear the office ladies every time say, did you read the Friday Flyer? It was on there. Everything you could possibly need to know will be on the Friday Flyer. So please read and engage with that. And it's also, we celebrate the children on there too. So yeah, we've got rewards that we give out in school, which we'll learn a little bit more about, but Busy Bee awards, reading certificates, and any children, any classes that win reading certificates or children that get Busy Bees, they get celebrated on the flyer too. And it's a great way for you to celebrate with your child.
See if your child's name is on there, which is lovely. And in your pack, when you pick that up today, you'll have instructions of how to join our parent mail, and that's how you'll get the Friday Flyer, so make sure you do that as well. If you can't do that, don't panic, we will keep you a hard copy, but most people, I think, they've got phones now, haven't they? So finally, yeah, as Miss Wigmore said, you know, come in if you're available. If you want to come in and help, we are always looking for new volunteers. We, you know, I said at the very beginning that we see ourselves as a community, as a family. So that includes you as well, as parents and carers. Get yourselves down here, get involved, get into the school life any way that you want to, whether it's, you know, just ad hoc, can't commit because of work, or you want to be in every week, then we'll take what we can get. We love as much help as possible. The only thing that we will need you to do is let us know formally, come to the office, even if it's ad hoc. We'll get you to fill in a online DBS form, which just, it's one of our safeguarding ticks. It makes sure that anybody who's in school is safe to be in school, which I'm sure you'd appreciate with your little ones coming here. And again, you know, I said it before, no concern or worry or question is a silly one. So if you're sitting there and you've got them now and you don't want to share in front of everyone, we'll be around. If you want to chat in a second, we'll stay for a few minutes at the end, or you can pop down if you want to see us when you pick up your packs. Miss Wigmore will probably be teaching, will be harder to reach, but you know, I'm sure that somebody will be able to answer your question. So please, you know, don't hold on to it. Don't spend all this time worrying. It's a long time until September. And I guess the last thing that I just want to say to you is thank you. You chose us, which, you know, makes us very proud. We love this school. We are biased. We think it's the best, but you know, so well done. You picked the best school. But no, sincerely thank you, really, because that means that you trust us to look after your most precious thing. So, you know, we're really proud, and we hopefully will do you proud by doing that, because any child that walks through these doors, we care for like they're our own. So, you know, you can have some trust in that. And my last thing I say is going to be a nag, but make sure you do pick up your pack today. And we do need it back with us before the 7th of July. So it's crucial that it's picked up, filled in and brought back, because some of the information that we will need before the children can be in school legally and insurance wise. So that's why I am nagging. But I think that's it. That's everything. Nothing else to say.
No, I mean, if you do have a question that maybe you think is a little bit more personal, we found out last time it's possible to private message us on here as well. So if you've got a question that you think everyone might benefit from, you can pop it in the chat bar, or, you know, turn your screen on and talk to us now is fine. If it's something that you'd rather not share with everyone, you can either wait, you know, 5 to 10 minutes. We'll be around, or you can privately message us and we can talk on the chat bar as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.